Well, I'm happy to report that this isn't the single worst movie I've ever seen. And at this point, I have to set the bar extremely low to find any kind of value or enjoyment in this trash. It's not for lack of trying though. Writer and director Paul W.S. Anderson certainly did his best to try to sabotage this movie as best as he could. Nearly everything on display here is at an extreme level of trash. But there is, shockingly, a couple of positives here and there. And none of them have to do with the terribly misused fan service. Okay, so the previous movie, Afterlife, ended with the gang making it onto the tanker ship Arcadia. And almost immediately afterwards, they get waylaid by a squadron of Umbrella soldiers being led by Jill Valentine because, you know, tying it into the video games and whatever. Retribution picks up right there, starting with a reverse slow-motion action scene just to show off the opening credits. Fine, whatever. Then we're given the good old-fashioned recap that they do for every single one of these movies.
My name is Alice. I worked for the Umbrella Corporation.
Then we watch the assault on the boat again, and now you're thinking, okay, cool, the movie's gonna start now, right? Nope. Now we're given an extended sequence of a zombie outbreak in a small suburban town featuring brand new characters that are being portrayed by previous actors. This becomes a plot point later on, so fine, whatever, but I don't know. To be honest, I'd rather watch this movie. Just give me something fresh and new at this point. I'll take anything. But this obviously isn't meant to go anywhere, and all it does is just pad out the runtime. 15 minutes in, the movie actually starts. That's opening credits, plot recap, short action scene you already saw, but this time it's not in reverse slow motion, a short film, and now the movie can get going. Really, you can skip the first 15 minutes and miss nothing. The only relevant thing is that this little girl is deaf, not that it matters anyway. Alice gets captured by Umbrella and is tortured by forcing her to listen to music by Skrillex.
Why did you turn against Umbrella?
Jill. Is that you?
Project Alice. Why did you turn against Umbrella?
What happened to Grease and Claire? Where are the others from the ship?
The facility then gets its computer hacked, and Alice is given an opportunity to escape thanks to Ada Wong and Albert Wesker, because why not? Meanwhile, another squad is looking to meet up with Alice and Ada to help them escape. And they include that one guy who lived from Afterlife, as well as Leon Kennedy and Barry Burden. Also, the Red Queen is back from the first movie too. Wow, what a reunion! No, seriously, what a reunion. Are you kidding me? They brought back the squad from the first Resident Evil movie? Why? I can't tell who's more desperate, the actors or the writer. About halfway through the movie, there's an explanation that Umbrella's using clones with implanted memories or whatever. That's supposed to explain why Carlos Oliveira was married to Alice in that opening segment. Anyway, Alice finds that little girl from the start of the movie and feels bad for her, so they share a bond. It's just a convenient way to up the stakes a little bit without it actually meaning anything. For a movie with so much baggage, the plot in this one is quite simple. The crew has to escape the Umbrella Underground Lab, which is made up of different real-world scenario simulations. This makes for a variety of backdrops and a ton of ridiculously out-of-place battles. Like this one part where there's a small army of zombies with machine guns, rocket launchers, and they're capable of driving motorcycles. The plot is stupid, and that's me being kind. Wesker died in the previous movie, and now he's back again immediately, as if nothing happened. I suppose I should count my blessings. It's not as bad as that retcon of the planet that they ignored from the third movie. Oh god, my head. With the story bringing back all these literally clones, calling it lazy would be a compliment. But, like I said, there are some positives here, as minor as they may be. This fight in particular, the one that takes place in the middle of this white hallway, it's surprisingly decent. The choreography isn't too bad, the camera angles and effects are reasonable. Look, I'm not an impossible guy to please, alright? If the whole movie could keep up with at least this level of standard in the action scenes, then I could call the movie stupid but enjoyable. But this is the only action scene of any real note. The final battle towards the end of the movie is okay too, but otherwise you get Mila Jovovich sideswiping a giant monster with a car. Am I crazy, or does this look really, really bad? I'm talking extreme low-budget anime bad. I mean, geez, maybe this is why all these movies are terrible. Paul W.S. Anderson is just a massive weeb. It sure would explain a lot. Aside from that, the backdrops are actually kind of nice. It gives the feeling of a globe-trotting adventure of sorts. I think the music stands out a little better in this movie too. Not a big deal, but I'm grasping at straws over here. That's pretty much all I have to say for the positives. No matter how I approach it, the movie still sucks. They bring back some of the awful 3D gimmicks, not as bad as the previous movie, so again, be grateful for that. There's some really bad green screen effects. They didn't even try to make it look good. Most insulting of all, however, is the fan service. This is where I question who the movie was even made for. All the previously returning characters will be completely lost on those who haven't been following the entire series. Fair enough, we are at the 5th entry after all. But then Ada Wong shows up, hired by Wesker, who has organized a strike team including Leon Kennedy, Barry Burden, original throwaway character from the previous movie, and 2 other characters who exist just for the sake of having someone get killed, as usual. Ada does look and play the part well enough, even if they are pretty shameless with ripping off that scene from Resident Evil 4. But hey, I guess beggars can't be choosers. I'll take anything that even looks remotely good at this point. But as for Leon and Barry, they do nothing special in the slightest. Even worse, Barry Burden is very quick to nobly sacrifice himself when the time calls for it. I mean, it's not like he has a family to go back to or anything, right? Oh wait, my bad. Why would I think that Paulie W.S. Andy actually cares about respecting the source material? Never mind. I just don't get it. What happened to Chris and Claire? And no, it's not even necessary that they brought back Jill. Hell, in this case, it makes 0 sense for the movie's universe to do so. It's never been implied that Wesker worked for Stars back in Raccoon City, or that he and Jill have any sort of a history. The fact that in this universe, Jill remained relevant after her adventure in Raccoon City, or the fact that she was captured by Umbrella, brainwashed, they dyed her hair blonde, why? It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. It really is absurd. Like, they did it just to tie it into the video games, and it makes no sense for the movie's universe at all. I don't know. I'm just losing my mind over here. I really don't get it. I mean, seriously, just who were these movies made for? The story acts like these characters have a history with each other, but that's never explored. And it assumes that you have some knowledge carried over from the video games, But if you go at it from that angle, it makes even less sense. None of this fits within the context of the movies. Going through all of these films is so frustrating. If, at the very least, if the action, if nothing else, if the action was decent across the board, then I wouldn't be so harsh. But this movie really does nothing special. It is a step above the previous one, barely, but that's not saying much. Thanks for watching my review on Resident Evil Retribution. There's only one more to go. I'm in the home stretch. I cannot wait for this to be over.